So if you remember from the, you don't have to remember. If you remember from the original data, then I have a list of all the home arenas of the sports team that are being played. Okay? I provide services for those stadiums whenever there's a game or whatnot, and I have the address and the zip code and all the stuff already inside my CRM. And I've been getting some complaints that there are misdeliveries and things are not going as they are expected, and I'm trying to send marketing materials there and they are not reaching, or they are reaching too late because the zip code is not updated or whatnot. And if I'm taking a quick look at the actual data, the actual source data, then I can see that there are missing zip codes here, and probably some of the addresses are incorrect. And I want to clean addresses. At first, I clean the business aspect of teams and revenues. Now I'm going to clean the addresses in the same data source. Now I could go ahead and sorry. Let's close this. I could go ahead and build a knowledge base for address cleansing. But that doesn't make any sense. Addresses, especially in the US, is so generic, so common. There must be somebody out there who knows how to do it already. And actually there is. Actually there is. So if I'm looking at the reference data configuration settings, okay, then there's a data market reference data services that I can go ahead and play around with. It's called Windows Azure Marketplace Data Market. There's a whole bunch of services in there. There's a bunch of configuration that I needed to do, which I'll spare you. I'll just open my lovely knowledge base. And I'll take a look at the composite domain for address validation. As you can see, it contains address line, city, state, and zip. You can change it and enhance it as you see fit. And now I'm going to connect this to a reference data. I'm going to hit the browse button here. And this now goes to Data Market, downloads the catalog, the reference data services catalog that I'm enrolled into. Some of them need payments, so we need to pre-provide in the Data Market catalog. Some are third-party providers that I directly connected to the box, and I'm going to choose Melissa Data for address validation. I have all the information on what Melissa Data is and whether it's fit for my use and all that stuff, and I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to map my data domains into their schema. I'm going to take the address line and map it, and I'm going to take city. Basically, every provider can publish what is it that they know how to fix, and I can choose what to use and how this maps into my own schema. So I did the mapping. This will now go to dqs.datamarket.azure.com, blah, 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 / Melissa Data. So any data that will come through that domain, any data that I will map to the address validation domain or parts of it, will now go to the cloud for cleansing. Which is good enough, so I'm going to hit finish and publish this change that I just made to the data, to the knowledge base, sorry. And now let's start a new data quality project. Tech add demo live RDS using the same knowledge base. Again for cleansing. And I'm going to use the exact same Excel file that I used earlier. And this time I'm going to map the relevant fields for the reference data. So I'm going to map city, I'm going to map state. Now obviously if I would have done it once, then the system would have remembered it and saved me the time, but this is the first time I'm doing it. I'll go about doing it manually. And I will hit next. And now again, I'm uploading the data from the Excel file, and this time this gets shipped into the cloud. This goes all the way to Azure, to Data Market, and from there to, in this case, Melissa Data, and doesn't work. How lovely. Let me just bring this up again. Ooh, that is a very lovely thing. I love it when this happens in a demo, don't you? What I'm going to do now is try to restart the entire SQL Server and hope for the best. If this would have happened in the 30 minutes that I was playing here, testing it, it would have been nice. I would have got my backup machine up and running, but this time it's a bit too late. So we'll just restart the machine, maybe restart the SQL Server, see if it's working. And if not, we'll just skip this part of the demo. Apologies for this. Anybody knows a good joke? Yes. In a sense. What I mean in a sense is that there's no reporting services built in. So if you want to build a fancy report out of everything that happened, then you need to go ahead and do it yourself. But it provides all the auditing and login information on anything that happens in the system for you to go about doing that. Okay, so it seems like it's back up. Let's try and see if this was indeed the issue. Okay, looks good enough. I'm afraid to try. So let's see if this time it works better. No. Something seems to be wrong with the network connectivity, so if this doesn't work now, I'll just skip it. One more minute. No, this doesn't seem to be working. So I will open an existing project that I should have. Always be prepared. So for some reason it's not working, something with the internet is not working. So these are the results of a previous project that I did 30 minutes ago against a reference data service for address cleansing. Okay, and as you can see, what it did is basically provided suggestions for the complete address. So one center court in Portland was changed into one North Center Court, while one center court in Cleveland was left as one center court. This record in Minneapolis did not have any zip code, okay, but my reference data knew how to find the right zip code and append it to my data. Again, I could have built this knowledge and said, look, Minneapolis, it's this zip code, but I have really no reason of doing that, other than the fact that it's not working. But assuming that it's worked, then everything is good. I have North 4th Street in Milwaukee, and it was corrected into North 4th Street, a standardized form of an address. Okay, so basically this works. And there's a bunch of reference data services already on board and providing services to be used through data quality, and the list just goes on and on. So some of that may be typical address-related things. Some of them may provide a list of all known diseases. Okay, there's apparently a 28,000 long list of valid diseases by the World Health Order. So whenever a doctor manually writes a diagnosis, it can go against that list and standardize to whatever it is the WHO decided that this is a valid disease. Okay? So anybody can build the reference data, publish it on Azure, and be consumed via data quality services. So again, I apologize for the glitch.